Let's talk about some of the other regions where if there's going to be 1 million people, maybe what, 100,000 there's 100,000 units in the pipeline supposedly in San Francisco. What about the rest of the Bay Area and that maybe can't do things like San Francisco or don't want to? Alex Mehran, some people want to live out in Danville, East Bay, et cetera. They don't want that urban lifestyle.
Yeah, and I think it's something that's important to point out is that the reason for that demand to go out there isn't just about the cost of the houses, it's about the cost of schools. You know, if you live in the city and you have the job that Carl was describing, you probably want your kids to go to private school, and that's just not tenable in the city. If you move out to the suburbs, there's better schools, and there's an opportunity for better public schools, and there's an opportunity to take advantage of that. And so we really feel that creating nodes in the suburbs with substantial infill development, retrofitting suburbia, as you said, you know, where you can create high density in the suburbs in specific nodes where there's jobs and houses, and you can get that convergence and reduce the amount of trips and vehicles is an important thing to think about.
Are there some places where that's happening now? Is if we look at suburbia, Gabe Metcalf, is there a place where you would say that this is the direction that retrofitting suburbia might go?
Well, I think Bishop Ranch is a really interesting example of a single landowner trying to think it through at scale. I also think that the city of San Jose, which you all should know is the biggest city in the Bay Area, more than 1 million people, very suburban in its pattern, and it modeled itself on Los Angeles for many decades and annexed land, is trying to move at least some of its neighborhoods into a much more urban direction. The North San Jose, where a lot of the tech companies are, is trying to kind of reinvent a new form that can be better than the suburban office park. Downtown San Jose is trying to grow as much as it can. So I think there are examples here in the Bay Area.
So, but government can only do so much, and there's Santana Row down there, which is one area that people kind of mention as a model of a place where people can kind of live and work. Carl, Shannon, what do you see as the obstacles for that kind of development in San Jose? Is it on the demand side or is it the supply side? Why isn't San Jose, can they become like San Francisco, get that urban mix you're talking about?
I think San Jose is trying very hard. And I think the redevelopment agency in San Jose got a lot of energy in downtown. The economics and the geography are different than they are in San Francisco. One of the challenges from an office standpoint, from a development standpoint, is that in downtown, parking is below grade or in structured parking that is expensive to build, and you are competing with office tenants on North First Street where the parking is in a surface parking lot. And the tenant there's an economic advantage. It's cheaper to be, or has been cheaper to be in that product in up off of North First Street in the so-called Golden Triangle than to be downtown. So you have to overcome that cost increment to draw the tenants downtown. And Adobe has been a great corporate citizen in leading the way and has built a great corporate campus, but you don't have the kind of critical mass that you have in San Francisco. So it continues to need very significant municipal help and support to continue. And really, in this last cycle was sort of the first time we built high-rise attached housing in downtown San Jose. It really didn't exist 10 years ago. And in the 2006 to 2008 timeframe, we finally built some attached housing in downtown San Jose. It didn't do terribly well, but it's there, and you have residents, and it's beginning to take off. So I think it is actually a good model of how you can sort of densify in an environment. There are places where there is the economic demand, but there's not the political will, right? And so you look at something like downtown Palo Alto. If we could build a 15-story attached condominium project on University Avenue in downtown Palo Alto, we could sell that out overnight. But there's no political will in some of these smaller municipalities to see that kind of densification. I mean, Palo Alto has that living, thriving downtown that people want. It has office rents that are, quite frankly, some of the highest in the entire Bay Area and some of the highest values for the buildings in downtown Palo Alto. So economically, the engine is there, but you have to find the right balance of the economic desire and the political will.